Hey guys, so today I'm going to be giving you 25 creepy and weird Disney conspiracy theories. You always think of Disney as being the very wholesome and family-oriented company, I guess, but little did you know that they do have a few secrets, so I'm going to be telling you guys some weird and interesting conspiracy theories / facts in this video, and without further ado, here are the 25 Disney conspiracy theories. The first conspiracy theory that I have for you guys is that apparently no one can die at Disney. So there was a book written called Inside the Mouse, and in this book the author claimed that in 1992, when a guy killed himself in front of the Epcot Center in Disney World, the medic who was there said that no one can die at Disney. And I'm assuming that this was because Disney wants to avoid any type of negative publicity regarding any deaths that occurred at Disney. Instead of claiming that the person died at Disney, they instead tried to claim that they died at the hospital. Apparently, Disney is a really popular place to spread the ashes of loved ones. Two of the popular rides at Disneyland that are infamous for having people apparently spread their loved ones' ashes on the ride are Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. In another Disney tell-all book called Mouse Tales, apparently the author knows of a story where the family of a 7-year-old boy tried to spread his ashes inside the Haunted Mansion ride. So apparently some of the cast members who work for the It's a Small World ride claim that they see the animatronics come to life. When all the power is shut off, they've seen their eyes blink, they've seen the animatronics in one place in the night, and then the next day they come back and then they see them in a different place, and that's really creepy and weird. So this is another really creepy It's a Small World ride conspiracy theory. One day in 1999, the ride had to be shut down for undisclosed reasons, and before the ride got shut down, one of the moms who was on the ride took a few pictures, and then when they were later developed, she had one picture where it looked like a child had been hanged from the ceiling. I saw the picture and it kind of looks like an animatronic. Some people think that it is a child, and if it is a child, that's very devastating and sad, but I don't know if it is. In the 1960s, when the Pirates of the Caribbean ride was being created in Disneyland, the Imagineers obviously thought to use skeletons. So they had tried the fake skeletons and they thought that it looked way too fake, so they got the UCLA Medical Center to give them real skeletons. After that, they realized that that is a little creepy, and I don't know if there were some rules that were put in place where they said they can't use real skeletons, but basically they got rid of most of the skeletons, but there are two sets of skeletons that are left, a skull and crossbones. But people say that there are still more skeletons besides the skull and crossbones that are real skeletons used on the ride. So another creepy conspiracy theory regarding the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland is that apparently if you are a cast member and you do not say "Good morning, George" to a ghost who haunts the ride apparently in the morning, and "Good night, George" at night, the ride will have so many problems during the day and the ride will shut down. There is a ride at Disney World called Mission Space. Basically, it stimulates you going into space, and I've obviously never been to space, but this ride is pretty accurate. Like, it feels like what it would feel like going to space. So sadly, in 2005, a 4-year-old boy rode the ride and he died actually coming out of the ride. Some cast members to this day say that where he died in the terminal of the ride, they say that they could feel a cold spot there and they think that it is his spirit. So there are cast members who say that on the Haunted Mansion ride, there are two separate little boy ghosts who haunt the ride. One who giggles and one who cries. Apparently there was a guy who took a picture in one of the doom buggies. He took a picture without flash in the pitch black dark. And in front of him in the picture, you can see a little boy sticking his head out of the doom buggy in front of him looking at the guy taking the picture. First of all, there was no flash on and you could still see the boy. Second of all, the guy who took the picture said that there was no little boy in the doom buggy in front of him or the doom buggy in front of the one in front of him. So where the hell did the little boy come from? Who knows? Maybe it was one of the two little boys who apparently haunts the ride. So there used to be a ride at Disney World called America Sings, and this was in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom. Essentially what this ride was, it was in a pavilion. You would sit in a seat. It was like in an auditorium. The seats would move around the pavilion from this like little thing in the middle. Every time it would move, there would be a new like set in front of it with different creatures moving and singing and basically telling a story. In 1974, there was a cast member who got stuck between the walls when the ride was turning, which is just horrifying to think, and her name was Deborah. Apparently her ghost haunts the pavilion to this day. So now I'm going to talk about two abandoned attraction sites at Disney World. In 1974, Disney opened this island attraction in Bay Lake at Disney World called Discovery Island. It was like a zoological type attraction. So it was open from 1974 to 1999. In the mid-90s, they started planning for the most amazing and best Disney park ever created, Animal Kingdom. Basically, Discovery Island on steroids. When Animal Kingdom opened in Discovery Island, the tourism for it declined significantly because who's gonna go to Discovery Island when you have a whole beautiful park to go to Animal Kingdom? But some people believe that it was shut down because there was bacteria in the water, and other people believe that it was bought by the government to be used as a death camp. I don't believe that at all, but some people online believe it. So between 1998 and 2008, the island had been explored by a number of people, basically showed that it had been just left there, abandoned. Disney didn't take anything out, they just left everything there. There were lights on still inside of the facilities, and the lights still remained on up until 2008. Like, why would Disney just leave everything there, and then why would they also leave the electricity on the island? If you look on Google Maps, it just looks like a bunch of vegetation has covered over all of the buildings. So another abandoned attraction at Disney World is called River Country. It was Disney World's very first water park. So it was opened in 1976 and closed in 2001. So there are a lot of reasons why people think that River Country closed in 2001. Two of the main reasons that people believe is because in the 80s and the 90s, Disney started opening other water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, and those were a lot bigger and they could hold a lot more people. In addition, obviously everyone knows what happened in 2001, 9/11. So after 9/11, tourism declined significantly. In November of 2001, that was the last time that it was opened, and it was never opened again. So there are some conspiracy theories regarding River Country. In the 1980s, 2 boys drowned in the water. The layout of the park was created in the 1970s when there were a lot less regulations for water parks and lifeguard stations and things like that. As time went on, regulations got stricter and the park just wasn't created to accommodate those strict regulations. Also in the 80s, there was a 4-year-old boy who died going into the water because of an amoeba, a brain-killing amoeba that killed the boy. So there was a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding this, that Disney had to close it down because it was just getting to be too dangerous to keep it open. And people say that the music still plays at the park, all of the slides are still there, and it's just so bizarre. Like, why would Disney just not take the time to shut this down and take all the buildings out? It's very weird. So another very strange aspect of Disney is the Club 33. So this is a club that is located in New Orleans Square in Disneyland. This is a club that has restaurants inside, it has a jazz lounge, it has beautiful like architecture inside, beautiful decor, a beautiful bathroom, and they're actually getting a Club 33 in Disney World, so look out for that if you were able to pay the big cash that it requires. The wait list to get into the club takes years, and once you do get into the club, you have to pay an initiation fee between $25,000 and $100,000 for the most exclusive package. Every year you have to pay an annual fee of between $12,500 and $2,500. And I don't know if like there's some like Illuminati type shit going on in there, but if you have been to Club 33, if you are a member, please let your girl know what the hell is going on in that club and why they are charging an arm and a leg to get in it. So when Walt Disney was building Disneyland, he noticed that in what would become the Sleeping Beauty castle, that there was a huge amount of cats living in the castle, and because they weren't harming anyone, he let them stay. But there are some people who believe that Disney himself actually brought the cats to Disneyland to take care of the rodent problem. Basically today there are 200 cats that live at Disneyland, and they all get spayed, neutered, they get their vaccines, they get fed, they get taken care of, and they just roam Disney. What an amazing life. So one of the genius things that one of the Disney Imagineers thought of is what's called a smellitizer. So basically what it does is when you're walking throughout Disney, there are little things hidden in like the buildings and like the ground and stuff that basically spray out a smell of like vanilla, fresh baked cookies. They spray this scent to heighten your experience at Disney, and that just shows how much Disney pays so much attention to detail. But some people believe that they're trying to control your mind with the scent. You can think of it as them trying to make your experience better, or you can think of it as them trying to control your mind. Another really interesting thing about Disney, and a conspiracy theory I read online, is that have you ever noticed that when you're at Disney you don't find any gum on the ground, outside, underneath tables or anything like that? Well, that is because apparently they do not sell gum at Disney for that specific reason. So if you have been to Magic Kingdom at Disney World, you know of Liberty Square. Now Liberty Square is basically just a replica of colonial architecture from colonial times. Obviously during colonial times they did not have public bathrooms, so apparently in Liberty Square there are no public bathrooms anywhere to be found. So another interesting thing about Disney is that if you go on Main Street, you'll notice that there are flags that line Main Street, and all of those flags are American flags. They're actually not. They're actually fake American flags, so they'll have like one less stripe or one less star. I guess in America it is the law that if you have an American flag, you have to fly it at half-mast at certain times, and basically you can't like keep it held up all the time. You have to like move it around at certain times of the day. But because the flags are fake flags and they're not real American flags, they can keep them hung up like that. So if you've ever been to Animal Kingdom, one of my favorite rides is the Kilimanjaro Safari. safaris. So apparently on the Kilimanjaro safaris, cast members shoot raisins out of cannons to get the gorillas to move around. And also apparently the rock at the top of the hill where the lions hang out is air conditioned so that the lions will stay there and that you will be able to see them. So now I'm going to talk about conspiracy theories about Disney movies. So there are two theories about Aladdin, and one of them is that Aladdin takes place in a quote-unquote far-off future. All throughout the movie, Genie is making modern-day pop culture references about people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jack Nicholson. Like, he will imitate people from today in the movie, and it's like, how the hell do you know about those people? Another conspiracy theory about Aladdin is that it never happened at all. Basically, the little salesman guy at the beginning, the little guy at the beginning of the movie is just trying to sell us the lamp by telling us this made-up story to give the lamp this like spectacular meaning so that we will purchase it. So another Disney movie conspiracy theory is about Beauty and the Beast. Some people believe that the book Belle was reading at the beginning of the movie was actually about Aladdin. And this is because she says that the book is about, and I will have to read this because I cannot remember this. She said the book is about far-off places, daring sword fights, magic spells, and a prince in disguise, all of which happen in Aladdin. And this may be true because Beauty and the Beast came out in 1991 and Aladdin came out in 1992. Maybe they're trying to preface Aladdin for the viewers, who knows. So one theory about Peter Pan is regarding the Lost Boys. Some people say that the Lost Boys were actually dead and that's why they never grew up, and people say that Peter Pan brought the quote-unquote departed souls of people that he, I guess, killed to the island, and that's why they never grew up. So another Peter Pan conspiracy theory is that when the movie came out, or around the time that the movie came out, a little bit after, people started to think that Tinkerbell was modeled after the infamous Marilyn Monroe for the fact that she was blonde and she was a little bit like curvaceous, but actually she was modeled after an actress called Margaret Carey. So another Disney movie conspiracy theory is about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Some people think that the seven dwarfs, Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Bashful, Sneezy, Sleepy, and Dopey. Yes, I got them all. So apparently some people think that they were created after the 7 stages of cocaine addiction, but I can tell you that that is false because there are no such thing as 7 stages of cocaine addiction. There are 4 stages of cocaine addiction that I have researched, and none of which are any of those things, and that makes absolutely no sense, but some people believe that. Some people even say that they think that Walt Disney had a cocaine addiction, which is why he created Snow White. But first of all, Snow White is not an original Disney story. He adapted it from someone else. I forget, I think Brothers Grimm or something like that. I should have researched that. Also, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that Walt Disney had any type of drug problem whatsoever. Another Disney movie conspiracy theory regarding drugs is about Alice in Wonderland. So Alice in Wonderland was made in 1951, and some people say that it was created to represent like a mushroom or psychedelic drug trip, I guess. I mean, if you've seen Alice in Wonderland, you know that the movie is a little bit out there, and the caterpillar was smoking, and it just didn't really look like a wholesome family movie. For that reason, he actually tried to lessen the publicity for it because it wasn't getting as good a reception as his other movies. So the last and final conspiracy theory, and this is regarding the mother figures in Disney movies. Walt Disney bought his parents a house after the success of a lot of his movies. When they moved in the house, there was a furnace in the house. They actually died because the furnace was like spewing poisonous fumes or something like that. Walt was never able to forgive himself for this. He felt like his mom died at his hands, and they died in 1938. If you notice, a lot of the movies after 1938, a lot of them did not have mother figures. So let's see, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, Jungle Book, Cinderella, they all have like missing mother figures or distorted mother figures, and some people say that this is because Walt wanted to avoid using mother figures in his movies at all cost after the death of his mother because he felt so guilty for the death of his mother. These were the 25 Disney conspiracy theories. I hope you guys found this video really interesting. You guys should let me know like what is your favorite Disney conspiracy theory below, and if you believe any of them at all. I know I believe some of them but not all. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video interesting. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.